Zelensky is adamant that he needs these security guarantees for any peace deal before they can hammer anything out. You can't blame him. Putin has been biting off chunks of Ukraine for years now, largely unchallenged.
Absolutely right. You can't have a peace agreement like this, given Russia's record of breaking agreements and given Mr. Putin's 25-year quest to restore the Soviet Union's boundaries. Any peace agreement has got to be backed up by security guarantees. Absolutely right.
President Trump said he's open to providing air support to European peacekeepers in Ukraine, but the Kremlin said yet again it's categorically rejecting the idea of any NATO peacekeepers. There are reports that Putin suggested in that Alaska summit that China be the one to provide troops to curb Russian aggression. China?
China with the unlimited partnership with Russia.
Yeah.
Look, you could look at the body language and President Trump's expressions coming out of that meeting in Alaska and know that things didn't go very well. So I think we've got a really tough road. And I think we're going to have to continue to look at these security guarantees and provide some incentives for Mr. Putin to want to start negotiations sooner rather than later. President Trump said if he didn't get a ceasefire, there'd be severe consequences. We haven't seen those consequences. Instead, we fell off the need for a ceasefire, and President Putin's sort of laughing at us. So I hope President Trump will reconsider.
Ambassador, great to have you with us. We were just talking about the fact that a source in the White House is telling NewsNation that they expect a bilateral summit between Putin and Zelensky to happen within the next 2 weeks. Putin won't even say Zelensky's name. He has tried repeatedly to assassinate Zelensky, according to Ukrainian services. What are the chances this meeting between the two of them will actually happen?
I think President Putin is doing exactly what he has been doing all along. He's just playing everybody, delaying, trying to say he's for a peace, saying he's for a negotiation, and then he never ever really comes to the table, and he continues to bombard the Ukrainians. Well, I think if there's any honor at all, if you are in a negotiation for a ceasefire or a peace, you don't continue to bombard the enemy. And that's what he's doing. And I think we're going to have to start putting sanctions or some form of leverage on him to make him really be serious about ending this war.
General, you don't even understand why Zelensky is insisting on this meeting with Putin, and why is President Trump pushing for it?
I don't know, because, you can't resolve these things with a handshake. This requires a lot of staff work, a lot of detailed negotiations, and look how tough Lavrov is. So I don't know what President Zelensky thinks he's going to do when he walks in there. Point the finger, say to Putin, you've stolen 19,000 Ukrainian children. It'll be great press in Ukraine if it's covered that way, but it'll be met with a dressing down and humiliating comments and so forth from Mr. Putin, and probably ratchet up the tensions again. So I don't see the value in it, but he does. He must have a logic to it.
Oh, I can't fathom the security that will go into that meeting, given the fact that Putin has tried repeatedly to kill Zelensky. Ambassador, you maintain that things in Russia are actually far worse than many might think, and certainly than what Putin is pretending. The economy in Russia is in shambles. Putin is paying big bucks to men of all ages to sign up and fight his war, that he still refuses to call a war, by the way. You say Trump has a powerful weapon that he is not using, and that is more sanctions.
I think certainly with the strong support that has been clearly shown in Congress, that the secondary sanctions could start ratcheting up the heat on Putin. As you said, his economy is in shambles. And I think it is important that we start looking at all of the Russian assets that are being housed in banks in Europe, banks in America, and start using those assets to buy weapons for Ukraine to fight this war. And I think it's time for Ukraine to be able to use those weapons to stop the killing, stop the bombs from coming in, the drones from coming in. And now it's clear that Putin is going for citizens, for non-combatants.
Civilians.
It's
Yeah.
ridiculous that we would sit here and let him do, not we, I mean, no one should be expected to see the Ukrainian people fight like this, but they're sitting ducks. All they get is bombarded, and they're not able to really use the force to go offense.
Yeah.
And really you've got to make Putin think that he is losing something. And right now, he doesn't appear to think so.
I think that is the general consensus. General Clark, Ambassador Hutchison, thank you both so much.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.